G'day and welcome back to my channel. Now look, I've just got a bit of junk here on the bench. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Hey? Now what's going on, you might ask? Well, it's been a terrible couple of weeks. I mean, I moved house. That was stressful enough, basically getting organised, finding the place, packing, then moving and unpacking, and that's enough to send you bloody bonkers. And then a bloody cyclone hit. Can you believe it? I moved to Brisbane just in time for a frickin' cyclone. I can't believe it. Anyhow, we had to sort of deal with the cyclone, batten down everything, put up with that. No power, no internet for a week. That's why there was no video last weekend. But now we're back. We are back. And look, I decided to do something to rejuvenate my mojo. And I had a poll on Patreon YouTube members. And they voted for junk. So, junk is what we're going to do. So that's interesting. I hope so. Roll the music. So what do you get in the box? Let's have a look. It's a nice stiff cardboard box, and the contents are actually nice. Now I've already opened this, so this little bit actually was on there nicely. Everything's bagged. That's bagged. Instructions. Now, although that's falling down, you get everything in nice little compartments. So the hull halves are up here. This sail is very securely locked in here. You've got more sails down here, and you have bits and bobs down here that I found that were loose. I bagged those. And then you've got the rigging line, and you have got a whole lot of accessories, and they're all in nice little compartments. So it's rather good. It's rather good. This was actually, the deck was actually in here, but it had broken loose, which happens. Alright, let's have a look at the sprues. So these are the hull halves, and although they're loose in the box, they've got that little section they sit in so they don't flap around. And they're very sturdy. It's very thick plastic, which isn't a bad thing really, because at this scale and for what it needs to be, I mean, that's probably spot on for the gunnel. There's virtually no flash. It's very clean. It's a bit comical, but I think that's kind of in keeping with the subject. It's a junk. It's made out of junk. I don't know. It's sort of crazy, isn't it? But there's more to go on. There's bamboo that goes over the top of this, and by the time you paint it, I think it's going to look really fantastic. So those are your hull halves. Now on the inside, you've got a bit of detail here in the gunnel, which is correct, and nice locating pins there. In fact, I did a dry fit with the deck, and it goes together so nicely. It really does. It fits well. So that's quite good. I don't know what that is there. It looks like someone took a dump in the stern. Don't you know you're supposed to poo in the heads? Oh well, there you go. But anyhow, yeah, the fit is really good. There's no warpage. Of course, can't do it now on camera, can I? Fumble fingers. Where are we? There and there. Click, click, click. Yeah, there, locating points. The fit is nice, and with the dry fit, I could see the deck went in perfectly, so there's going to be no issues there at all. Speaking of the deck, there it is. It's all in one piece. It's already nicely tiered for you. Got some lovely deep sections here, as you can see underneath, that push through, and that means you're going to be able to get some real depth to this and a feeling that there's an inside of the boat, which is terrific. And if you have a look at the detail here, see if we can get this to focus. There we go. Now it is nicely detailed. It's not as cartoonish as, say, the Batavia was, and the Batavia was a much smaller scale. It was basically 1 to 150 from memory, and on that the grain was huge. This grain's finer, and this is a 1 to 160, or 1 to 60, sorry, scale. Yeah, so it's a much bigger scale, and that is actually really nicely done. In fact, looking over this whole kit, the moulding is fairly good. It's very clean and crisp, and it's going to lend itself to painting and adding washes, and should come up a treat. So I'm pretty happy with that deck. I think it's got great possibilities. Now, these are the two sprues. and the only two sprues, well, only two large sprues that you get. Let's have a look at the smaller one first. It's going to be easy to show on camera. So I'm bumping everything here. Now, detail again is lovely. Let's get up and close. Let's get close and personal. It's the only way to do this. So you should be able to see, look at those little pieces of bamboo there. Aren't they just gorgeous? Aren't they just lovely? And this is the this is actually the transom. Well, stern of the ship. I call it transom. Who knows what you call it, junk? This is a little cover here. I think it's at the bow, and it's basically where the anchors are. I don't know if you can see the texture on that. I'll do some photos at the end of this video so you can see. Everywhere there are lovely textures. There are, nothing is just flat and boring. There's lots of little relief and textures and detail all over this kit. So you can see here, this is actually the stern. I mean, it's so different to other ships that I've made. So this here goes on the stern, and well, it could be a ship's wheel, who knows. But again, the wonkiness, nothing's perfect. Everything's got a bit of a wobble to it. It's lovely. It's like the whole thing was knocked up in someone's backyard. You know, it's junk. It's terrific. It's really so much fun. You might be able to see texture on that one. Can you see? Can you see all the markings? It's lovely. It's beautifully detailed. I mean, the bamboo itself is just lovely. And here is a little jolly boat, as you might call it, sitting on the stern. And it's quite nice in itself. It should come up well. What's it like on the other side? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's even got the clinker planking on the inside there. Some injection points there that are going to need to be addressed. But this, look, there's so little to fix up in this kit. There's a tiny bit of feathery flash here and there, but nothing. I mean, compared to the Bounty Revell kit, which was like 90% flash and 10% kit, this has only got tiny bits. Nothing that a little bit of a rub of a sandpaper or even the edge of a knife, and it's gone. So the parts are actually really nicely done. Really nicely done. So, you know, you can imagine a bit of paintwork or some washes. This is going to look a treat. Alright, let's have a look at the bigger sprue. Now this one is a little bit too large for my staging area here, but let's see what we can do. There's a big gap here, and that is where the deck fell out. And that's common. That's quite common in most ship kits. When they arrive, the deck's bloody broken out and taken loose and tried to go on a little voyage of its own. That happens. You know, that's nothing to worry about at all. And one of the stands came loose as well as one little part. No doubt all suicided at the same time. So here's your main mast, and just look at this. Okay, look how bent it is. And that's not like bad moulding and warpage. That's what this kit is like. It's supposed to be like that. It's just a big bamboo pole, and it's, you know, it's organic. And I think that's the theme all the way through this kit. It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. These are bamboo poles that actually sit on the side of the ship. So they'll be fun. They'll be good to weather up and you know, give it a bit of bamboo colouring. It should be fun. It should be fun. This is stowage. You can actually put that on the deck. Great stowage. You've got some ladders, of course. You've got a lovely little base for this, with the word junk in there, and the whole thing's made out of bamboo. So that should it actually suffice. I wouldn't do anything else. I just use the supply stand. And then you've got another couple other masts here. That's a mizzen mast, and that's your foremast. And again, they're just bamboo, and they're wonky and they're bent. It's just so much fun. I mean, this kit is a laugh. Now, in the smaller bag here, everything's nicely bagged in this kit, are two of the smaller sails, and they have some lovely detail on them. Now you can see the bamboo strips which form all the little braces, and they appear here inside. I mean, it's so different to the ships that I build, which, you know, the British and French ships and those sort of things, sailing ships. It's so different. There is a texture on the plastic. You know, normally I'd replace sails with cloth, but there's so much detail on this. I could replicate it and build my own, but it's hardly worth it, especially with this like pillowing here. it's rather nice. It's so nice and it's so well done. I think I'll go with it. As I did with the Greek warship, when I built that, I painted that up and I got a really good effect out of their sail. I think I'd get the same sort of thing here. And this is the one for the mizzenmast. And it's a little bit of, there's a couple of injection points here that will need to be cleaned out, but look, that's not hard to fix at all, really. That is not difficult to do. I did exactly the same solution and fix up on that Aoshima Greek warship, and by the time I stained it and did all the work that I did, you didn't see a thing. So look, I have high hopes that I can just use the plastic parts because they're lovely, they're so different, they're so unique, and they're so beautifully moulded. As I said before, the mainsail here, it came in its own little cardboard little riser, fully protected, which is good because you wouldn't want these little edges breaking off. You know, it's all part of the detail. So it's nicely sort of little twist tied in here and held in its own little thing. Now the detail on this is very similar to the other two smaller sails, so I won't go over that. It's just bigger, that's all. But the packaging is absolutely lovely, and it certainly attests to the quality of this kit. Now the last couple of packets here, well, there's some string with some cotton, and it's pretty good stuff actually. It's a lot better than my Revel Bounty. It's well, it doesn't seem to have any furries on it, and I've had some line and some cordage I've bought to do rigging, which has been infinitely better than normal cotton or the stuff that's supplied in that, like the Revel kit, because you don't end up with all the furry edges. Just a quick wipe with a bit of wax just to catch anything that might be there, and it looks lovely, and it won't be a dust attractor. Now in the other packet you have these guys. Now let's get rid of, we've got 3 of these, so let's just have a look at one. Now these are basically your main gun, although only one is stipulated to be used in the kit, along with some shields which were on the big sprues. We could pimp it up and use all 3 of these, but there's 6 of these little swivel cannons, and they've even been, the ends are even bored out for you. Can you see that there? I don't know if I can get any closer, I doubt it. But you might be able to see they've already bored them out for you, which is rather lovely. You do get plastic pulleys, and there's 18 of them, but I happen to have about 18 5mm pulleys sitting in my my pulley stash, so I'll probably use wooden ones. Yeah, I'll use instead, but nothing wrong with those. You could use those in this kit, get away with it. You just have to paint them up, of course, make them look a little less plasticky. But there you go. That's going to be a lot of fun. Now also in the kit were these cloth flags. Yeah, they're not just your usual horrible decals and then you've got to figure out some way to make them look realistic. They're actually made out of cloth, which is rather nice. So you could kind of soak those in a bit of white wood glue and bend them into shape and do things with them. They're rather lovely. And I've just included in there, in this bag, just a few of those parts that escaped earlier on. And as you can see, this is one of the stand little frames, and it in itself has got texture all through it. It's really good. Nothing is boring plastic. Everything's got some detail on it. Everything's been textured nicely. It's a lovely kit for what it is. It's only simple. There's not a lot of parts, but this is a lovely kit, and I have high hopes for it. Instructions come in a nice little book, and I'm again sorry my staging area won't let me show it all in the right way, but I'll turn and we'll go. So basically you get a lovely little sort of photo there of the model, I assume, built by someone else. Just gives you enough idea of the rigging and everything like that. And that's the box art basically repeated there. So it's really good. And you've got the telephone number there if you want to ring IMAI. Yeah, you can give them a call. Now the text is in English, sort of. There's some very there's some very clever spellings and everything. Somewhere in here I found the common joke, the word exactly, it was actually spelled ex-Rackley. But oh well, we'll forgive them. We'll forgive them. It's not their language, and this kit is fairly old. I think I'll put it on the screen basically when it came out. It's quite a few years old, so it's quite humorous reading to go through and read the conversion. But look, the same would be said for anybody trying to translate our language. There's anomalies, and that happens. But it's all understandable, and the instructions are actually quite easy to follow. I mean, there's little bamboo pieces there which create the stand, and the hull goes together, as I show my dry fit, goes together beautifully. Then you've got basically your belay points and everything go in, and your ladders and bits and pieces, and some of the little covers there for the deck, those little bamboo sort of uncloth covers. It's quite tricky. This is the as they say, the bow tent for the winch, and shows you all the. And this one here's the stern tent. So easy to follow, easy to do. Full rigging there, because there's basically a windlass there that shows you how to rig that. And then here's your stern, and this is what I call the transom. Shows you how that all goes together. And then there's the piece. Well, that's the jolly boat, as I call it, hanging off the stern there. So it's all a lot of fun. It really is. It really is quite nice. Anchors sit in such an unusual position for me. That's where they go. I mean, this whole boat is so different to what I'm used to, and that's going to be the joy in it, because it's something really different. It'll take me out of my comfort zone. I'll have to do some research. They even provide rigging as you go, as you put things in. They're telling you, rig that now, rig that here, that holds in place. These are the bamboo rods that actually sit on the side of the ship. And then we get into more of the rigging, explaining basically where all your blocks are going to go, how it goes together. They even give you the correct lengths for all the lines. I mean, it's lovely. It's really nicely done. So, you'd be hard pressed to go wrong. This is such simple rigging, I think anybody could do it. And there's the full diagram. But basically, they've broken it into 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and each sail has exactly the same steps. It has basically number 1 is a form of stay lines, and number 2 are your lifts, which then run down and get tied off, and then number 3 is a combination of they're a bit like braces, I suppose. Really, it's like a brace, but then it also pulls back and through. It's different. It's very different. It's very oriental, because the principle how these work, because there's so much bamboo in their sail. In fact, some of the junks, might have been older ones I've seen, the sail parts were actually strips of bamboo as well. And there's no reason you can't do that. You can have a fixed sail. You don't have to go the western route of having a cloth sail that billows. Fixed sails are very efficient, and that's basically how these work. They're very stiff. They catch the lightest of breeze and they push it along, and they're very controllable. So there you are. Jump forward 5 years to today, and look, the junk is here and it's still in the box. Yep. Everything is there. It's a lovely kit. Let's put it together and see how it looks with one of my sort of wet, dry fits prior to me painting it in the next episode. So there we go. It's basically assembled. And that took about an hour and a half of my time to cut the parts out and get them ready. Now there's bits I haven't put on, of course. There's a whole lot of these little bamboo pieces that go down the sides here, but they can't be put on today, just with a bit of, friction fit. There's the transom, that won't fit on, that just falls off. The anchors, they're all going to go on the front here. And there's the boat, right, which goes on the stern here, and that hangs off with, there's a couple of arms here, davits, put it on, but I'm not going to do that because I can't actually do the whole thing. And amazingly, I found out 2 of the cannons go in the back. Yep, so there's a cannon for the deck and there's 2 cannons for the back. That's why there's 3. So we can have this thing fully pimped. That is great. So there's still a fair bit to do, and that'll all be in the next video. I'll finish off those other bits, but really, to do this properly, I've got to paint it, because it's one of those things, like with all my boats, you got to paint them and then put them together, because I'm sure the deck colour is going to be slightly different to the side and everything like that. Got to do some research, because there may be some colour schemes we can do for this. So there's lots more to come. This is going to be a fun build. Now, if you made it to this part of the video, I thank you. And as usual, down the bottom here, yep, there's some little jobs here for you. Yes, the jobs are fried rice and chop suey. Yep. You click those, you get a lovely meal. Not only that, you get to help me. Oh dear, oh my. So that is the junk. And it's going to be quite lovely. When I get a lick of paint on it and we start doing some wood effects and getting some shading on it, it is going to come alive. So, yep. It's going to be a fun little project. All right, this is rejuvenating my mojo. That's exactly what I needed. So there you go. Anyhow, until next time, when I get some paint on this, it's goodbye from Australia, and it's hooroo from Harry Houdini.